Hey everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So you saw in one of the most recent videos, there are animals in the barn. That means barn cleaning duty. Well, duty happens, and somebody's got to get to cleaning out some pens. So yesterday, it'd been about 9 or 10 days, and he went through here with pitchfork, moved the cows over, and started doing some cleaning. So if you remember, I had said before we had a bull in this pen, and as the manure rose, and he was a pretty wild bull, that bull was pushing up on the siding. So we went through yesterday and we mounted 2x4s along the upper part of the barn so that this bull can't rub on the siding. He was sticking his head out this window, and it was covered with these grids on hinges, and they're old hinges. It busted off. So then he started sticking his head out the window and he broke some more siding. So, against all of my better judgment, the cows are in here. Well, the bulls are in here, and they do the worst damage on this stuff. So having the concrete wall being about 4 feet high really helps a lot. But now this guy wants to stick his head out. So we've got to finish this part. We got to here, and I only had 3 more 2x4s left. And he realized, well, we've got to clean the pen out. We need the windows to access to throw the manure out there instead of on here on the dry floor where I'm standing, because like right now the cattle trailer's here, there's tractors here. Ideally, when we've cleaned it out before, you just pull the manure spreader right in here through the doorway, park it, pitch it straight from the pen onto here. Now we don't have a manure elevator system in this barn. I think there was at one point. There was dairy cows over in this other section, and there's a channel cut into the barn floor for that. But because this was added later as a small pen project, it doesn't have that. So pitchfork only. I actually have to go get another one. We have a 3-prong fork. We have a 5-prong fork, which has been the favorite, and it got bent. Somebody got it caught into something. So he's going to heat that up and straighten it out. But the new ones at like Menards, they're so heavy, they're miserable to work with. And somebody had to get this cleaned out. So he pitched them out the windows. Let's go over there and see what he did. So everything's real nice and easy out here, and to not have to handle it twice. He said, hey, we'll just pitch it out, because he didn't want to start up the tractor yesterday. It was like 18 degrees in the morning. And eventually he's thinking of putting a lean-to on the side here. So we're not terribly concerned about the siding, but you know, we don't want it to look real bad and fall apart. So the manure spreader was stored in the storage trailer over the winter. He went ahead and pulled that out this morning. Woo, I got some ice here. I'm going skating. And pulled out the tractor. So he figured there's probably not enough charge on the battery to start it. So we just pulled it over with a backhoe because it was off in the barnyard somewhere. And we're going to charge it up. We use the Schumacher battery charger all the time. I'll link it in the description. It's mobile, it's handy, and it will charge the weakest of batteries and multiples. We've got 2 of them. Like the dump truck takes 4. I don't know how many this takes, but you know, batteries are a hard thing to spend on. So a lot of times we find ourselves borrowing a battery from one thing to another. And we have to either plug this in to warm it up or put it on the charger when it's very cold, because it just doesn't like to start. And you don't want to ether everything all the time. It's not good for your engine in the long run. But we're going to go ahead and do some manure spreading today. We'll take you along for the ride. I was trying to do a cold start for you on this pony motor and diesel engine, but you know what? I got a new phone. You may notice from the quality of the film, the last one was really bad and shaky. So we're gonna let this warm up for a little bit and do a little work. So if you've been following along and watching some of the home repair videos, you know we've been doing a lot of like masonry repairs, more on like flat work, driveways, patios, concrete slabs. Well, This barn needed a little bit of work. There was a crack here and a crack there. So before he moved the cows into the barn, he filled that, and it was still quite cold, so we packed it with bales of straw on both sides. So the good thing about them being moved, he got all done, and it was a semi-warm day. But then the temperatures kept dropping at night, of course, you know, February. So now we're into March, and as soon as he got done and he cleaned up, he realized that there was a crack here and a hole. So a lot of what was the downfall of the barn across the road is that it was a fieldstone foundation instead of a poured concrete foundation. So we're gonna work on a lot of barn repairs this year overall. We started some before we started moving the cows into the barn, but with lumber being high all of last year, I wanted to replace these barn doors. They, you know, get rusty and rotted. I hear a kitty meowing somewhere. But for some reason, right here in this corner, they did a big rock, and maybe it was down in the ground and they couldn't move it, and then they poured concrete over it. So this beam is slipping out. You lose your corners, you could lose your whole barn. So we've got to fix that up and not lose our barn, because spending money on a new barn can be more than buying a house these days. Nobody wants to build a house right now because the lumber is high. And it's making the real estate market good, so that's why we're doing a lot of home repair videos. So you can see he's just scooping this up. We're doing duty. It's steaming duty. So this is the John Deere manure spreader that we did the floor patch on it last year. Year before, I guess. George's pretty little still. So there's a tin patch there. I noticed you must have lost a little strip this year. Or last year, I guess. So now we're starting out a new season. The thing about your manure, don't give it away. A lot of people will give it away, horse manure and that, because they don't have the field to spread it in. So gardeners will take it and improve their soil. We're improving our own soil all the time. And you can kind of see a slight color difference up here. That hill got quite sandy, and we've been spreading the manure along that wood line, that's our farm lane going out to the woods, for years. And just kind of slowly improving that. Well, there's been some thawing and a lot of mud, but he'd like to get up here into some sandy areas and spread the manure in those poor soil conditions to help improve it. And over time, you can do this organically and naturally without buying chemicals to add to the farm. Many years ago, we had decided we were going to switch to growing organic. We didn't get certified organic. The money you can spend on that is non-stop, because certifications that we found is they want a percentage yearly paid out to them for certifying you. It's not a one-time fee sort of deal. So we looked through the state for certification and doing that, and well, that's just not our song and dance. You sell it as organically grown or organic practices, not certified organic. We're not selling anything to the public for consumption as, you know, organic. But you gotta have certification for that, so you gotta walk a fine line on it. If you're growing things the old way, then you're growing organic. So with the backhoe, it tends to load the whole load in the middle. So sometimes it takes a little while to get going. We are at the farthest north section of our hayfield. This was all newly planted. Last year was the first full year. and it's gotten pretty well established. There was a video a couple of years ago. I was out here knocking down all the thistles with the disc. That was a job. They were taller than the front of that tractor. Real nice manure job here. And that manure spreader's been modified with some big finger flingers. But you can see this is the edge of our maple woods. So this is a section where there's a lot of small trees, too small to tap, and quite the steep hill to climb. So we didn't tap over here this year, but today is not a good maple sap flowing day. It'll flow some, but it got pretty cold last night. And, well, the sun's not coming up too much. Trey, that's the area there that was all those motorcycle hills that we did the motorcycle deletes. He spread the last load of manure over that way. That was a good thing to do. But it's surprising how much you can haul out of the barn and how little the amount of field you actually get done. There's another load, maybe two back there. He was realizing it was kind of going off to the side with the backhoe as he was unloading it, and I was filming. So we'll go back and get another load. But this is the beauty of the edge of our farm that y'all don't get to see too much. If I come down here, let's see if we can zoom down there. That is water. That is the river flowing. So in Michigan we got lots of creeks dumping out into the main rivers. They're all pretty full right now. You can see we got lots of down timber down here. Those Husqvarna chainsaws have been working a little extra heavy duty between making maple syrup wood and firewood for the house and the hot water. That hot water deal was one of the best things we've done for ourselves, and we did it just in time. We've been going from 20 kilowatt hours down to about 14 because of it. And when I say 20 kilowatt hours, that was a day. We got a power company app on our phone so we can check our daily use every day. The other day I went to the attic, our little construction job there, and I left those work lights on all day, and they're 100-watt light bulbs, and there's probably 7 or 8 of them. We used like 29 kilowatt hours that day. So like, oh, and I left the light on in the basement, which was another 100-watt bulb. Gotta watch that usage. I've always said we've got the highest electric bill anywhere, and now we've been learning a lot about line loss and things being plugged in that you're not using. They're putting timers and reminding the kids to unplug the power strips on the entertainment center areas, because those DVDs and TVs, the DVD players, they light up all night long. So like their Wii game, they play it every day. It's taking power even when it's off, just to tell you, red light, it's off. Oh, Georgie's coming out. Water isn't enough. It's too cold. It's not springtime today. Jack set you up to get stuck, guy. I said Jack set you up to get stuck. You gotta turn around and go back. Why don't you go? Hey, why don't you go for a ride in the backhoe or the tractor instead?
My tire! Oh, my tire is not wall!
It's stuck.
What?
All right. It's going. Okay, he spread in 4th gear. Trey said he spread in 3rd gear with that clumpier stuff. And when it starts, sometimes you get these clumps, so we just kick those out. And he said that when he got to the edge of the field, he was running out because of the speed. So he slowed it down on the manure spreader 1 knot. This way, he's spreading a little more even at that speed and in 4th gear. And then he won't run out when he gets to the edge of the field. Now we've been cleaning out some of the pasture and pen area that the cows and bulls have been occupying. It's been getting built up by the fence. There's always some feed waste, and with feeding them hay and straw, we have to clean that out and spread it. So it's really great to have animals and have your own fields to be able to do that in, because you're just recycling. They're just the greatest recyclers. So speaking of that, this is the hay field. It has clover in it, and it is what he has been chopping for silage. It's worked really well for them. Very good nutrient dense food for them. They've all been doing really well. We've been seeing a steady like body condition in them, where a lot of times they tend to lose in the winter because maybe it's too much grass and not enough alfalfa or clover, and they really like it a lot. So the silage pile got a little bit smaller today. If there's too much snow, my hands are freezing. If there's too much snow, too much mud, then we can't feed with the backhoe. And then we were giving them baled hay from earlier in the summer, a lot of 1st and 2nd cutting that was baled. A lot of times you kind of put that off, and we don't do out of the field pricing, because basically that just makes you sell out at a cheaper price early in the season rather than hanging on to it when everyone else is out. Never takes long and the whole family starts pitching in. George showed up. Trey came out when we were dumping the 1st load. This is our 3rd load now. And I guess we were short 1 backhoe bucket full of a full load, so he grabbed a bucket of that from the manure pile from the pasture cows. So right now it's Trey and George. They're spreading in 4th gear. And Dad's going along the edge of the woods and cleaning up any sticks and branches that might have fallen. We did a lot of field edge cleanup and reclaiming over here a year or 2 ago, and then started in on the east field instead. But there's always storm damage. There's always cleanup to do. And these two are farming buddies. They stick together when it comes to this kind of stuff. And they're so small, they fit on the seat together. Can't even hardly see George. That's his little red hat. I got him his coat. Jack sent him out to bike ride and he didn't have enough. Look at that. Yeah. Beautiful. Trying to zoom out. It's not so easy when you can't see because the sun is on the screen. The clarity on this camera is amazing. You guys know we're cheap and thrifty. I got a Samsung Galaxy S9 at Christmas time because I knew my phone wouldn't last much longer. They tell you the CDMA or CMA basically they're shutting down the old phones. So my husband's flip phone, that was gonna quit anytime. They said December 31st, but yeah, the old one's battery conked out and it had only been a couple months, so we went and got this one switched over the other day. Looks like he's just about empty. Alright, I'll go walk along the edge of the field with Dad and help him pick up some more sticks. Thought you guys might like to see this view. This is a big flat spot at the far edge of the field. Right where we meet up with the river. We're about 80 feet up at this point, and that's why it's hard to tap this, and it's the perfect situation for maple syrup tubing so that you can run lines and run them all downhill to a lane further in for collection into a milk tank. Isn't that something? Alright, time to put it all away. He's straightening up his gravel pile here. That's awful steep. He was saying people will take the axles right off of these trailers and set them on the ground. We double use them for hay and straw storage, so it's nice to have them mobile. Man, that dug right in. Georgie, stay back. Because it's loose now. And I was telling him we're owed some more loads of gravel. And the guy who has the gravel pit hasn't been doing the job. His helper needs to bring us some more. We got a secondary drive going with these doubles parked here. So, need some more loads. And that's it, all parked in. So that's the barn manure clean out and the manure spray, everybody. Thanks for watching. Give the video a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.